Hey friends, I'm Emma, and welcome back to the show. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this episode a thumbs up. Cody Brown, the star of Sister Wives, actually has a softer side, even though he often comes off as grumpy and confrontational. His collection of action figures and models, including several Star Wars-themed pieces, shows that the much-criticized patriarch also has a humorous streak. Cody has experienced his own share of traumatic life experiences. He went bankrupt in 2005, divorced 3 wives, Mary, Christine, and Janelle Brown, and lost his son, Garrison Brown. We all need something fun that allows us to express feelings and bring some happiness to our lives. That's why so many adults end up purchasing toys. Star Wars memorabilia, in fact, has been around for decades. From those legendary 1970s action figures to current-day adorable little Lego sets and their goofy plastic hairdos. Laboobies are also currently a hip favorite. Fun fact, Robyn's also got a toy interest. She has a doll collection, including several American Girl-type dolls, and it's worth an estimated $70,000. Cody showed off some of his own toys in the bedroom of his new home, and he may still be doing so. He probably spent at least $100 on even a base Millennium Falcon model, although his collection doesn't seem to feature the more expensive variations. You can actually see some of his collection in the photos above, courtesy of a Reddit post posted by a user called Mindful Goat Nugget. Small robots encircle a spacecraft, which is located at the bottom right of the photo. A Bandai Hobby 1444 scale model kit of the Millennium Falcon sells for about $111 at major online stores. Of course, there are more expensive versions of that iconic spacecraft. And it's possible one of those special editions belongs to Cody. The Rise of Skywalker version of the Millennium Falcon on sale online is also strangely similar to the miniature model seen at Cody's former residence in Flagstaff, Arizona. The house was sold for $1.75 million, and after that, the pair proceeded to purchase an even more costly property. That one set them back by $2.1 million. There's certainly enough space in their large new palace, and one that's also located in Flagstaff, to accommodate all their precious items. Although Cody and Robyn frequently come under fire for their extravagant expenditures, they do seem to enjoy a very high-end lifestyle. It's even possible that a General Grievous character is part of Cody's collection, although it's difficult to know for certain. That specific character may be difficult to recognize because of the hazy nature of the photos, but if it is who fans believe it is, it's apparent Cody's at least somewhat attracted to the dark side. The Kish Warlord, famous for dazzling lightsaber abilities, definitely makes an interesting addition. Aside from the toys depicted above, which were spotted in a 360-degree virtual house tour snapped by a fan when the property was for sale, additional photos emerged in the same Reddit post, providing a glimpse into their aesthetic. One eye-catching photo, their bedroom, decorated like a Gothic castle, complete with rich purple walls, upholstered silver headboard, and intricately carved bedposts. It's definitely unique. To others, it's like a middle-of-the-pack Las Vegas hotel, and believe me, that's saying a lot. Still, good for Cody and Robyn for using their space and possessions as a means of self-expression. Even if nobody gets it, people should decorate in a manner that makes them happy. Most of the commenters in that Reddit thread don't quite get Robyn and Cody's decorating choices. Responses to the toy box weren't really that robust, but the decor? That shocked people, or at least confused them, something fierce. Some of the best comedic comments were from readers responding to the bedroom layout. One of them, perhaps reasonably, accused Robyn of being the probable designer of the over-royal, over-purple master suite. The entire layout seemed, to them, something a 12-year-old princess fanatic would come up with. Even one user confessed, "Before I read the description, I actually thought it was a kid's room." Are Cody and Robyn overspending? They clearly look like they own lots of expensive things. However, Christine Brown seems to be catching up on lifestyle. Cody and Robyn have long been regarded as the more affluent couple than the former wives. Christine was the first one to walk out, and soon after that, She found a new husband. Now she and David seem to be doing well themselves. They purchased a house in Moab, Utah, which is now available as an Airbnb rental. Just as the Star Wars cosmos continues to grow, so does Cody's own life. Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, or the galaxy's cutest creature, sort of reflects that growth. Although Cody suffered huge losses when his ex-wives left, perhaps it also felt like things were finally coming together. In all honesty, Robyn and Cody appear to be well matched. Cody, despite his imperfections, truly loves his wife, and he doesn't appear to want anyone else. Robyn, too, is content in a monogamous relationship. And so, in a sense, Cody gets the opportunity to be himself for once. For the first time in quite some time, he's fought and lost a lot of battles in his own heart. But now, the pretending is over. Cody no longer has to pretend love or go through the motions with wives he does not really care about. Everybody already knows whose heart belongs to him, and it's Robyn's. Such emotional dissonance can just take a toll on a man's mental state. So in that way, Cody's universe is growing. It's making room for more of himself. He's made an effort to get back with his older kids, some of whom have deep problems with him. And that attempt is more genuine this time around. Recently, Cody even redistributed the Coyote Pass land, allotting more to Mary and Janelle. That's a shift for him. He's mellowing a little. These changes, slight as they are, indicate that he's changing. And perhaps, maybe, his stash of toys and other personal comfort items at home provide him some comfort in what's obviously a rough spot in his life. He's still mourning, and probably always will be. A sweet video tribute to Garrison above shows just how soft-spoken and compassionate that young man was. Others compare Cody to Darth Vader, but now that he's had the tragedy of losing a child, that cartoonish judgment seems horribly unjust. That sort of anguish is life-shattering. It makes everything different. When Coyote Pass sold for $1.5 million, Cody and Robyn allegedly took about $750,000 from the sale, though they didn't receive the whole sum. But aside from that, for a family with a penchant for pricey toys and David Yurman bling, that sort of economic windfall couldn't have arrived at a better moment. But more important than any amount of money is the reality that Cody is actually connecting with his children. Because at the end of it all, kids are what truly count. When parent relationships with their adult children get broken, it's up to the parents to step in and fix them. Kids, however old they become, still long to feel safe, seen, and loved by their parents. Cody has an opportunity to reestablish those priceless connections, but he'll have to get going on his own. Finally, after a protracted period of poor self-awareness, it appears he may be learning from his errors. And that's a hopeful omen for what may be a less violent future. As a Star Wars aficionado, Cody certainly knows lightsaber fights aren't endless. All fights must come to an end. If Cody Brown can manage not to slide back into the dark side again, he might well be able to mend his fences with his children and start to mend the reputation he's worked years ruining. Employing strategies such as manipulation and deception hasn't taken Cody very far. Meanwhile, one of the ex-sister wives, Janelle Brown, recently endured another sad Mother's Day without her son. Since the loss of Garrison in 2024, Sister Wives Season 19 actress Janelle had to face yet another terribly difficult holiday season without him. Now aged 56, Janelle has endured more than her share of sorrow in recent years. She was Cody Brown's second wife in their plural marriage, but she left the relationship in 2022 after almost 3 decades together. Their marriage was already strained by the time COVID-19 arrived, and the stress of the pandemic only furthered that gap. Cody's family, once consisting of 4 wives and 18 children, had been disintegrating long before season 19. By the time that happened, 3 of the wives had departed, and Cody was estranged from many of his children. Garrison Brown, the eldest of Janelle and Cody, was one of 6 children they had together. Whereas Cody wasn't so close with his kids, however, Janelle remained close to all of them, including Garrison. Even the best love of a mother, however, wasn't enough to salvage him. Since his death, Janelle has had to endure her second Mother's Day without him. And there's no reason to believe it will ever be any easier. TLC handled Garrison's death gracefully. He'll never be forgotten. Season 19 is on the air now, and the show did a lovely job of paying respect to the memory of 25-year-old Garrison. As the Brown family journeyed to Wyoming to spread his ashes, most of them thought about how much they loved him. A few of the family members said that Garrison reunited them, if just temporarily. As they went through the episode, they exchanged poignant stories about him. His fondness for animals, his humor, his kindness. It seemed to heal somewhat, even in the midst of their sorrow. For Janelle, it's almost impossible to picture life without her son. He never even had the chance to see her new house. She's attempted to work her way through her loss in her typical quiet, stoic way since losing Garrison, but she's only human. This loss has rattled her. No parent should ever have to lay a child to rest. She did everything she could to keep him safe while he was alive. But sometimes, even the strongest love from a mother just isn't enough. And that's been one of the toughest realities for Janelle to accept. It has been difficult for Janelle to come to accept completely. Throughout Sister Wives Season 19, she and her daughter, Savannah Brown, who is 20 years old, had an emotional conversation about the new farm Janelle recently purchased in North Carolina. That scene landed differently, because Janelle came to understand that Garrison never laid eyes on it. He would never take a walk through the property, never see the new house she was constructing for herself. The life she was building, he would never be a part of it. The loss of Garrison hasn't only hit Janelle, it's devastated Christine Brown deeply too. Christine had been in Garrison's life from the start. She helped raise him from birth. When Janelle was working full-time and the family was continuing to expand, it was Christine who took care of most of the childcare. That level of day-to-day interaction created an unbreakable connection. Garrison spent his days with her, and she became a second mother to him. Despite her break from Cody and subsequent marriage to David Woolley, Christine was still extremely close to Janelle and her children. Garrison was not her biological son, but in all the ways that counted, he was her boy. Throughout Season 19, Christine confided in David about Garrison. She was thrilled that he had been present to witness their wedding, but devastated by the fact that he would never get to see another family celebration. Having Christine around on intensely emotional days, like Mother's Day, is likely an enormous consolation to Janelle. She's a friend, but more importantly, family. Then there's Cody Brown, a man the public tends to view as moody, icy, and unbalanced. But behind that rugged image is much more of a complex reality. Unexpectedly, it's one that's reflected in his collection. A fusion of childhood magic, sci-fi mythology, and collector's gems. Little starships, iconic fighters, and cherished droids, all reminders of a reality-far world, provide a peek at the sweeter, more creative nature of Cody. These mementos from a far, far-away galaxy aren't playthings. These are tacit signs of a man who's always desired escape, exploration, and make-believe. This aspect of him is directly opposite to what he's most famous for. His story of mental disarray and broken familial bonds. Cody has suffered enough, both financially and emotionally. He once filed for bankruptcy. And as relationships fell apart, the emotional cost was difficult to deny. What was once a painstakingly constructed image of one large, cohesive, plural family began to disintegrate when 3 of the most significant women in his life decided to leave. They decided to walk away, one by one. And then came the ultimate, most devastating blow, the premature loss of a precious son. That type of loss, the type that burns its way through every aspect of one's life, altered Cody forever. In a world swimming in judgment, stress, and constant media scrutiny, everyone needs an escape. Some turn to meditation or foreign travel. Others find solace in music or reading. For Cody, it's not. He takes comfort in perfectly crafted metal and plastic figurines, small trinkets that remind him of simpler times and distant galaxies. There's a reason grown-ups tend to hold on to things that remind them of childhood, not out of a fear of maturing, but as a method of holding on to the joy in a world that too often seems devoid of it. Collecting toys isn't always nostalgia, it's remediation. It's about keeping hold of the tiny fragments of marvel that make life tolerable. What's interesting is that this collector's enthusiasm is not exclusive to him. Robyn, too frequently criticized just as intensely by the public, has the same fascination. Her collection is more conventional. Exquisite porcelain dolls with hand-stitched dresses, radiating wistful femininity. Combined, their figurine obsession constitutes a hidden haven, an emotional connection between them, untainted by the opinions of the world. This union was once on full view in Cody's former bedroom. Amidst extravagant curtains and daring design elements, there was something gentler stashed away in the corners. The rich headboards, the gem-colored fabrics, and those castle-like bedposts were set amidst a touch of fantasy. A toy spaceship, perhaps a copy of the Millennium Falcon, neatly stashed alongside teeny starfighters and robot friends. These things weren't concealed. They were openly part of the decor. Their presence mixed into a house where make-believe and reality merged in each room. Likely, these beloved items made the transition to their new, even larger home. A property valued at even higher than the previous. And now, in glass encasements or snuggled into comfortable nooks of their large estate, these literary heroes continue to whisper tales of escape and hope. Scoffers might make light of the extravagance. They might deride the excess. But what they lack, what they entirely miss, is what these objects actually symbolize: comfort, continuity, and a feeling of identity in an existence that's frequently been anything but consistent. Amongst the trinkets stands a very interesting figure, one that brings to mind an image of a multi-armed warrior from a popular intergalactic legend. Whether or not the similarity is coincidental, it speaks to an even greater obsession with dark power, intricacy, and control. They're not toys, they're symbols, representations of inner conflict, of the fragile balance between peace and rage, strength and weakness. And the home that houses them? It's just as singular. Screenshots from online tours show a living area that defies traditional aesthetics. It's not the typical house. It's a dreamlike combination of mid-century kitsch and medieval fantasy. Each feature looks staged for dramatic effect. Deep purple colors overwhelm the master bedroom, with silver trimmings glinting on an expansive headboard. It doesn't simply appear to be a house. It looks like a boutique hotel hidden away on the Las Vegas Strip, or perhaps even a fantasy-themed attraction. To the outside world, their existence can be puzzling, even ridiculous. But for Robyn and Cody, it's an intimate story expressed in velvet, figurines, and elaborate decor. It's not decoration, it's an expression of life. Their house is a symbol of the tension between dreams and the sometimes painful reality they coexist with. On the internet, though, the response hasn't been so generous. Every couch, curtain, and trinket is fair game for judgment. Social media threads analyze every furniture decision with a combination of sarcasm, incredulity, and snark. Some even confuse the master bedroom with a kid's playroom until the context falls into place. But even in the derision, there's something raw and exposed about their decisions. A need to make something beautiful, even if it's not being understood. Yet questions remain. Are they living beyond their budget? Are these extravagances masking something more intimate, something hurtful? Especially as others, such as Christine and Janelle, appear to have adopted a more carefree, uncomplicated lifestyle. It's difficult not to compare, but it's also obvious. Cody and Robyn enjoy access to resources and freedom to create a fantasy-based lifestyle, rather than one of constraint. Through all the drama, one thing remains unchanged: Cody's home life with Robyn. For better or worse, their relationship has stuck, even as the other women who previously referred to him as husband have moved forward. One of them has remarried and now entertains guests in a quaint new house, far from their common past. What Cody has now isn't ideal. It attracts its share of criticism. But what it is, finally, is authentic. The act is over. There's no longer a need to pretend he loves anyone but Robyn. Whether he intended it or not, the fall of his polygamous family made room for something new. Free from the burden of juggling several relationships, Cody appears to be looking within. He started to focus on his own faults and go out of his way to make amends with old hurts. In a gesture of smoothing past conflicts, reported land that previously was a thorn in people's sides has been redistributed. 2 of his former wives were said to have received their deserving shares, albeit a gentle nod of integrity, and 1 towards peace. These choices indicate something beyond practicality. They indicate change. Whether precipitated by age, loss, or introspection, something within him seems to be easing. That bravado that previously concealed inner suffering is gone. Since the loss of his son, Cody no longer wears bravado like a shield. That sort of heartbreak ablates any pretense. The pain is unvarnished, it's authentic, and it alters everything. Where power and legacy apparently had dominated his mind, now there's something else, a gradual but palpable movement toward healing. He's attempting to rebuild relationships he once let crack apart. Whether they'll succeed is questionable, but the attempt itself represents a change. Even the land, previously a war zone of emotion and symbolism, has been sold. Accounts indicate the money was divided, giving each side a large sum. Others think the cash may be spent on their extravagant tastes, exclusive toys, designer paraphernalia, and high-end indulgences. However much money can be spent, nothing can purchase reconciliation. Even the costliest jewel cannot substitute for the tranquility of being absolutely understood and forgiven. Cody appears to finally get something now that he did not before. Real connection with his children isn't established through status or control. It's established through humility. He's not coming back to them with pride, but rather with something like remorse. Even though his kids are grown adults now, most still hold the hope of being reunited with the father they used to look up to. Mending that kind of relationship takes vulnerability, something Cody hardly expressed in the past. But now, he's starting to drop his defenses. The hard shell, once compared to the villain of the very tales he loves, no longer applies. That metaphor has worn thin. There are cracks in the armor that can be seen. The mask has begun to slip. In its place stands a man scarred by sorrow, who is no longer trying to regain control, but something much harder: redemption. Alright, thank you for watching. If you found this video meaningful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Get daily updates right here. See you next time.